I don't take presents from a child who isn't really part of this family. My mother said it casually, as if she was commenting on the weather. My father didn't correct her. He just leaned back in his chair and smirked, like he'd been waiting to see my reaction. I didn't react. But my son did. He blinked once. Then again. Slow, steady, almost rehearsed. Like he had spent years learning how to survive adults who pretended he didn't exist. The lights from the Christmas tree flickered across his face. Soft gold on wounded eyes that refused to bow. The air thickened. Before I go further. Hi everyone. My name is Zara and I'm 32 years old. I'm the kind of woman who learned to smile with a straight back even when something inside her snapped. I've lived my whole life being told to adjust, tolerate, be grateful. And tonight, those words finally ran out. Because this wasn't the first insult my parents threw at my son. It was just the first one he heard clearly. And answered. He rose from his chair slowly. His little fingers still stained with the dried paint he used to decorate the wooden ornament he had gifted them. He had spent 2 weeks making it. 2 weeks believing his grandparents would hang it proudly. My parents didn't even touch it. My mother nudged the box aside with her fingernail, as if it carried dirt. I felt something twist inside me. Not rage. Not even sadness. Something colder. Something final. My son looked straight at them. No tears. Just a calmness children shouldn't know at his age. It's okay, he said softly. But, do you want to know what I put inside the ornament? My parents exchanged a confused glance. They weren't expecting him to speak, much less question them. The room went still. Forks suspended. Breaths held. My father cleared his throat. And what's that supposed to mean? My son smiled. A small, heartbreakingly brave smile. He opened his mouth. And just as he spoke, I watched both of my parents' faces drain of color. Because he didn't reveal a secret. He revealed the truth. The one they never wanted to hear aloud. And that was only the beginning. My ornament has something inside it, my son repeated, his voice steady, almost too steady for a child. It's the thing you both pretend doesn't exist. My parents stiffened. My father forced a laugh. What nonsense are you talking about? But my son didn't flinch. He stepped closer to the table, the small box still sitting there, untouched, unwanted. You know how you always say I'm not part of this family? He asked quietly. Well, I put the thing you're scared of inside the gift. Silence clamped onto the room. My mother's smile twitched. She hated losing control even for a second. And what exactly do you think scares us? She snapped. My son looked at her the way a wounded child looks at the person who caused the wound, not angrily, just honestly. The truth, he whispered. My father's jaw locked. My mother's fingers curled around her napkin. He reached for the ornament box, lifted it gently and held it out toward them. You can open it, he said. I'm not scared. But they were. I could see it, the tremor in my father's hand, the flicker of panic in my mother's eyes. Not because they feared what was inside the ornament, but because they feared what he had finally found the courage to say. I watched them crumble in slow motion. Because my son, my quiet, gentle boy, had just done something I never could. He forced them to face themselves. And I knew, this night was about to unravel everything. My mother finally reached for the ornament box, but her hand hovered above it, shaking. Not from fear of an object, but from fear of exposure. She lowered her hand. Coward. My son didn't move. He just stood there holding that small box like it was a mirror they refused to look into. My father cleared his throat, trying to regain his usual authority. Sit down, he ordered. Don't make a scene. My son tilted his head. Is that what you're afraid of? A scene? Or people finally knowing why you don't want me here? My mother inhaled sharply. That one line sliced through the room like a blade. I felt my chest tighten. Not with fear for him but with pride so sharp it hurt. Stop talking, my mother hissed. Her voice cracked in a way I had never heard before. But he kept going. Why do you treat me different? He asked, looking straight at her. Is it because I look like my real dad? Or because you don't want people to know what you did to my mom? My parents froze. Their eyes snapped to me, accusing, defensive, terrified. My son had stepped into a truth they spent years burying. And each word he spoke unearthed another piece. My mother tried to speak but her voice came out thin. What lies has she told you? He shook his head gently. She didn't tell me anything, he said. I figured it out because of how you treat me. And in that moment, my parents realized, the fragile silence of our family was breaking. My father's chair scraped back violently. The sound sliced through the room, sharp enough to make the Christmas lights tremble. That's enough, he barked, pointing at my son. His voice wasn't angry, it was scared. A man terrified that a child had just spoken the one truth he spent years burying under silence. But my son didn't even blink. He stepped closer, the ornament box still in his hands, as if offering them one last chance to choose honesty over cruelty. You know what I put inside it? He asked again, softer this time. The thing you both hate the most, because it proves you wrong. My mother's face twisted. Stop this nonsense. It's not nonsense, he interrupted. It's proof that I am family. Her jaw clenched, but she couldn't look away. My father scoffed. Proof? What proof could you possibly? The same proof you ignored the day Mom left this house, my son said. The same proof you pretended didn't matter. The same proof that scares you now because you know. I didn't come here empty. My mother's lips parted, breath unsteady. She knew exactly what he meant, and so did I. The ornament wasn't just a decoration. It wasn't just a gift. It was a message. A quiet, devastating reminder of the one thing they denied. Blood doesn't make family. Actions do. My son placed the box on the table, sliding it slowly toward them. You can open it, he whispered. But once you do, you can never lie again. My parents looked at the box, as if it were a ticking bomb made of truth. My mother pushed the box away with the back of her hand. A small gesture, but it exposed everything. Because when people fear an object that weighs nothing, it means the truth inside it weighs too much. My father leaned forward, voice low, trembling with a mix of pride and panic. You're manipulating him, he accused me. You filled his head with this garbage. My son stepped in front of me before I could speak. No one filled my head, he said. You did. Every time you looked at me like I didn't belong. Every time you pretended I wasn't standing in the same room. My father's lips tightened into a thin, brittle line. My mother tried a different approach, her favorite mask. Fake sympathy. Sweetheart, she said softly. Children often misunderstand. You're sensitive. I'm not sensitive, he said, cutting her clean. I'm observant. That silence. It wasn't ordinary. It was the kind that swallows entire rooms and forces everyone to face themselves. My son opened the ornament box, not toward them but toward me, as if to show the one person who had earned the truth. Inside it lay a small folded note. Handwritten. Shaky letters but steady courage. I wrote what I wished you had said to me, he told my parents. Just once. My mother blinked, confused. My father frowned. My son looked at them with a calmness they didn't deserve. It says. He unfolded the note slowly, deliberately. You belong here. You are loved. My parents flinched. As if those words burned. Because they weren't meant for them. They were meant to expose them. The note hung in the air like smoke, gentle but impossible to ignore. My parents stared at the words as if they were foreign. As if kindness was a language they had forgotten how to speak. My father's face hardened first. He hated vulnerability, even in the form of a child's handwriting. So what? He snapped. You expect us to pretend things never happened? To reward you for acting out? My son didn't flinch. He folded the note with slow, careful hands and placed it back inside the ornament box. I don't want rewards, he said. I just wanted to know if you were capable of saying it. My mother's composure cracked. Her eyes darted from me to him, then back to the untouched box. Her voice came out thin, defensive, trembling at the edges. Why would you think we don't love you? We've given you so much. My son tilted his head, expression unblinking. You've given me space at your table, he said. But never a place in your family. That line hit them harder than any scream could have. My father pushed his chair back, rising slowly, as if the ground beneath him had shifted. That's enough, he muttered. This conversation is over. But my son stepped aside, blocking his path with quiet courage. It's not over, he said softly. Because there's one more truth you need to hear. My mother swallowed. What truth? My son looked at them. Not angry, not emotional. Just honest in a way only a deeply hurt child can be. The truth, he said. That what you did to my mom, you also did to me. The room went still. Every breath hanging unfinished. My mother's breath hitched. A sharp, involuntary gasp that broke the silence like glass. My father froze mid-step, his hand gripping the back of the chair so tightly his knuckles bleached white. They weren't expecting this part. They never do when the truth grows up. My son didn't raise his voice. He didn't cry. He didn't shake. He just looked at them with the calm, devastating clarity of someone who'd been wounded quietly for years. You hurt her, he said. Every time she walked into this house she walked out smaller. And when you hurt her, you hurt me too. My father tried steadying his voice but it cracked anyway. Don't twist things. We never laid a hand on. You didn't have to, my son interrupted. You used words. Looks. Silence. The kind that makes people feel like they're disappearing. My mother opened her mouth but nothing came out. For the first time in my life, guilt actually settled on her face. Not because she felt it, but because she was finally cornered by it. My son stepped closer, the ornament box now resting on the table between them like a line they could no longer cross. You made her believe she didn't belong here, he said. And I watched her pretend she was fine so I wouldn't break. He took a slow breath. A small, shaky exhale that almost undid me. But tonight, he continued, I realized something. Both of them looked up, desperate, fearful. He lifted his chin, brave, steady, unshaken. I don't need your approval to belong, he said. And she doesn't need your permission to be enough. My mother's eyes flooded. My father's mask slipped. My son wasn't finished. He pointed at the ornament. That wasn't just a gift, he said. It was a test. And you failed, exactly the way I knew you would. The room collapsed into a silence so heavy, it felt like the whole house was holding its breath. My parents stood there, silent, exposed, like two people finally seeing the wreckage they created but pretending they had nothing to do with it. My son closed the ornament box gently, the way you close a chapter that no longer deserves another sentence. He turned to me, slipping his small hand into mine. Just that simple touch felt like a promise. A promise that neither of us would ever shrink in this house again. My mother spoke first, voice trembling. Please, don't leave like this. It's Christmas. My son looked at her, not cruelly, not bitterly, just truthfully. You didn't want me here before, he said softly. And now you only want me because you're embarrassed. My father opened his mouth, trying to salvage dignity. We can talk about this. We can fix it. I finally spoke. 3 simple words, steady as a closing door. We're already fixed. They both stared at me, confused. I squeezed my son's hand. He found his worth without you, I said. And I found my strength because of him. My mother stepped forward, reaching for the ornament box as if touching it might undo everything. But my son gently pulled it away. It's mine now, he said. I gave you a chance to show who you are. You did. I guided him toward the door. No shouting. No chaos. Just a quiet, powerful exit. The kind that leaves the walls echoing long after you're gone. As we stepped out into the cold night, snow falling in slow, forgiving flakes, my son looked up at me. Mom, he whispered. We don't need them, right? I knelt, brushing a snowflake from his cheek. Not anymore, I said. We have us, and that's enough. He smiled. A real one this time. Behind us, the house stayed silent. A silence earned, deserved, and final.